You've said before, I think it's time we need a third party, to rise up. You're seeing RFK. I don't know if you saw him yesterday on that town hall that he did. Did you get a chance to see some of the things he said?
To a brand new video. Today I'm going to be reacting to valuetainment and podcast. They said a lot of interesting things, so I don't want to give you a spoiler. Just want us to get, just dive into the video.
You've said before, I think it's time we need a third party, to rise up. You're seeing RFK. I don't know if you saw him yesterday on that town hall that he did. Did you get a chance to see some of the things he said? Let me tell you, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. The answers he gave on drug addiction. And he says, I remember when my father died, I dealt with drug addiction for 14 years, and I've lost family members, brothers, this, that. And then the way he addressed Trump, he says, what do you think about the fact that many Republicans and Trump are supporting? He says, listen, I love the fact that I'm getting respect from people like that. I'm not trying to bash Biden. I'm not trying to bash Trump. I'm just talking about ideas. Then she talked about fentanyl. Then she talked about vaccine. One of the doctors got up and challenged him. And then she says at the end, so, what do you think about the fact that your own family members have said this about you? Your own family members have said this about you. And then RFK calmly turns around and says, well, let me ask you this. Do you mean to tell me everybody in your family agrees with you? She says, no, you got me there. So in every way, he crushed it yesterday on this town hall. He showed a lot of poise, and he's creating a lot of momentum with Musk, with Rogan, with people from the right or the left, and some people that are not Trump fans, but they're Republicans, some people that are not Biden fans, but they're Democrats, and he's created a lot of momentum for himself. Do you think we're at a point right now where and RFK actually has a chance? Well, he'll be forced to run as an independent because there's no way they're going to let him be on the stage standing next to Biden debating. We all know that's not going to be taking place. But if he runs as a third party, do you think RFK will just end up being a Ross Perot 2.0, or do you think he actually stands a chance to create real momentum and real change?
Well, RFK Jr. has an attribute that Trump possesses. It's called authenticity. When you listen to him and you talk to him, and I have, it's very clear he's telling you exactly what he thinks. That carries enormous weight with the American people. Ideally, I would like to see those two gentlemen get together and form a third party. I think it's time. I think it could be done. You've got to get on the ballot, but that's not an insurmountable obstacle. The problem I have is beyond, just get on the ballot. It's the election process itself. I mean, it's corrupt. I grew up in North Philadelphia. We haven't had a clean election in that city in 60 years. Come on, wake up, smell the coffee. Chicago, New York City, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, forget it. Now with mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, we're not even talking about the software. This is just crazy. It's nonsense. The French tried it. It didn't work because the whole system was corrupted. Anybody who's looked at this reasonably and objectively has said this can't work. The reason the states are in charge of our electoral process is because when the Constitution was written, people all agreed that the federal government in 1787 had no money, had no staffing. So all the states had it. So they said, well, we'll have to let the states run the elections. It was a practical decision, but we've never addressed it. We've never gone back. If you go to most European states, modern European states, they have strict regulations and a strict process that requires proof of citizenship, proof of legal residence. You have to show up in person. Then your party affiliation is checked if you're registered to a party. Then everybody who's there from the various parties approves you. Then you get a ballot. Then you go, you turn it in, bring the ballot back. They take the ballot. They put it in the box. That's how you run an election. We can't run an election in Georgia that is radically different from the election we run in Philadelphia. We've got to have them be the same across the country. And no one wants to do that. And, that's a constitutional amendment. We forget the Constitution was also designed, in the 1780s? It's hardly relevant to the nation that we have today. There are many good things about it, but the Constitution is the structure of government. Didn't say the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights are sacrosanct. Those are what make us as Americans. They're being trampled on left and right these days, and that needs to stop. But as far as the Constitution is concerned, we've got to rethink this whole structure of government for the 21st century. Once again, nobody wants to go there. But if you have the kind of upheaval that I think is coming, we may have the opportunity to do that.
make some real changes, apparently, based on that. But, some people on the left will say, all this stuff you're talking about, election, come on, Colonel. I mean, we saw what happened 2 months ago, 3 months ago, Fox, $787 million Dominion, all these guys that talk about elections, the biggest fine ever paid, et cetera, et cetera. And then Fox releases Dan Bongino. He's no longer there. And the next person and the next person and the next person. And then the GOAT of Fox, Tucker Carlson, they have their dispute that's going on there. So the credibility, from the left is going to use that for the election cycle, the next 17 months. They're going to keep talking about the big weapon that they got, which is one, Roe v. Wade. The red wave didn't come through because the timing of it was terrible. Two, $787 million. They're going to say, hey, if you think you're right with the election, then why the Fox? Your Crusader mainstream media company, why did they pay $787? So this whole hoax about, election fraud, nothing like that exists, or else you wouldn't have to pay the fine. What do you say to that?
I think the election litigation was about Dominion software. I wasn't present there. I am somewhat familiar with it, but I can't comment on it from a legal standpoint as to whether or not it's a meritorious outcome. But I do know that when it comes to absentee ballots and mail-in ballots, that's a catastrophe. That is an open door for corruption on steroids. And if that's what we're going to see, and I think we will in all the blue states, I don't see any evidence at all that anyone on the right can win that election.
So based on what you're saying, 2024, November, whatever the date is going to end up being, is most likely going to be either a Biden, a Kamala, a Newsom, or a Michelle.
Well, if we get to 2024 and the left does what I think it's going to do, which is what it did the last time, they're going to win the election.
Who do you think is going to be the last man or woman standing?
I don't know, but I don't see, this is back to the question of what happens then.
Yeah.
In other words, do you sit and take it as an American, or do you say, no, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that?
Happy 4th of July to you. We have a special event that's coming up with Tom Brady, Mike Tyson, and Will Guidara in Miami, Vol Conference. It'll be August 30th to September 2nd. This weekend for 4th of July, we're running a special. Buy one, get one free. Bring your spouse, bring your business partner, bring your running mate. If you haven't yet registered, click on a link below or above. Get registered. Looking forward to spending 3 days with you in Miami.
Let me just say this right. I feel like America, I still believe, let me correct myself. I know America remains the greatest country on planet Earth. I mean, I'm commenting from outside. I'm an outside commentator, but I love America. But there's something happened, right? So there was a shift for me. Ever since Donald Trump was, voted out of office, I stopped paying attention to American politics because, I mean, as much as I love Barack Obama, but I feel like I don't agree with some of the policies that he put in place. And the policies I'm talking about, especially this, the policy of, negative, marine negative. I don't want to say the word, I don't want to get cancelled. But I don't agree with that because it has given a lot of power to those people, and now they feel like they own America. So they are like, if you don't agree with us, we're going to get cancelled, you're going to be phobia. They throw in the phobia word, they call you hateful, because they can't win an argument. You understand me? That's my problem. I hate when people can't win an argument.